Terry Show.
Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Terry. And this is T.D. Cooper. I'm Frank H. Weeden. Our author links and published pages are down below. Anyway, this morning's topic is, and Terry, you've read this story.
Yes.
I wrote a piece of flash fiction, and it'll come out probably in my anthology, so I'm not going to really go too deep into what it's about or anything else. But suffice to say, it's kind of a rough story, and I know that my wife was having kind of a fit over some of the content.
So was your partner here and didn't know how to say, ooh, Frank.
Right, it's kind of a creepy story.
Which is the point of today's topic.
Right.
Keep going.
But it was just a piece of fiction that I wrote, and I know it was creepy. It was meant to be creepy, but it creeped a lot of people out a lot more probably than I would have preferred. However, I ended up winning an award in a contest, and so I think what the conclusion we've come to on that is just write. Not worry about the audience, not worry about what the trend is, not worry about any of those things. Just write, because that's what you do, is you write.
And whatever in your mind or your heart or wherever, if you're trying to write to someone, it's not going to come out clearly. If you're writing what's inside of you, it's going to be fabulous. And you don't want to pay attention to what audience because there's an audience for everything out there somewhere.
Right. Well, I look at some authors that are like really wrong, like Chuck Palahniuk, and some of Joe Hill's stuff is kind of like, ooh, you know. But
see, I think Stephen King stuff is, but I'm not that kind of a horror kind of person either, and
and a lot of people don't like horror at all. So I certainly get that, and what is really scary or creepy, and people will pay for that thrill ride of that novel. You know, that's not everybody's cup of tea. That's why, you know, like you go to a theme park or something, there's roller coasters and there's like the calmer rides and different things like that, because different people like different things.
They do.
Some people love to be scared to death. So
yeah, I don't like to be scared with blood and guts and gore.
Right.
But I do like to do mind tricks. I like to make you think about things in a different way. I like those kind of stories.
Right, like a psychological twist.
Which is the way I thought of that story, but I didn't like the way it made my brain go. But again, you know, we, as close as we are with our writing and knowing each other, it didn't surprise me that you wrote that.
Right.
So
anybody who knows me, has known me for any length of time, knows I can be pretty creepy.
You have a dark side. There's no doubt you have a dark side. But that's cool. It's cool, but that keeps it interesting.
Well, you know, and there was a point in that story. It's like only a 700 word story, but
Don't tell too much about it.
No, but there was a place in there that was very questionable. Let me put it that way. And so after I'd won the contest, then I went to the lady that was in charge of the judging and said, I've got this spot in this story that I'm kind of like I'm unsure about, because it seems a little over the line. And she goes, oh no. She says that actually served to ratchet up the tension a lot more in the story.
Did that.
And it's like, and so I'm like, okay. It stays.
And it goes to show you, I don't know everything. You don't know everything.
I don't.
Nobody out there knows everything. So
yeah, now I'm actually interested in revisiting the other Punch.
No, God, Punch. Okay, yeah, do it. Get it out there.
I'm trying to not get in trouble though.
When did that ever stop you?
Nah, never.
Anyway, congratulations on your win.
Thank you. Yeah, it was not a huge prize, but I did beat out 7-8 other authors for it, so that was kind of nice.
That's good. I know it's fun. I enter my stupid stories in the fair, county fair, and I, first, second place most of the time.
Yeah, everybody just needs that shot in the arm, so.
Yeah.
Okay. And regarding contests themselves, I was looking at, and still occasionally look at, free contests. And I know that, I mean, how do you feel about like paying entry fees for contests? We talked
I've
about
done it.
right, and we talked about paying
Uh-huh.
for publishing, which is
Right.
but paying like say between $10 and $20 to enter a contest.
I think I've paid $25 to enter some, but I'm real selective on what contests.
Yeah, and I am too.
Writer's Digest has a contest every week, and they want $25 or $35, and that's
the it's so hard to kind of go through and filter what contest to enter. But I get and I was reading an article a while back, and it talked about entry fees for contests.
Uh-huh.
And I thought they had a good point. They're like, if you expect to win, have a prize of $8,000, $10,000,
yeah,
that money's got to come from somewhere. So everybody chip in, pay your $20.
Pay your,
it's no big deal.
Enter your contest.
Right. And it ends up being advertising.
Right, it does. And
I did submit to there's an online magazine, and you can actually get a hard copy called Glimmer Train, and it's I just kind of happened across it and thought, oh, I'll submit a story. Ended up getting a runner-up prize for that, and I thought, oh, runner-up, well, that's not a big deal. I didn't win a prize. Only to find out much later, it's like, wow, you made runner-up in Glimmer Train. That's pretty impressive. And I was like, oh, okay. It was not anything. So
maybe you gotta go back there, and I'll go visit Glimmer Train.
Well, and I had not. Yeah, it's Glimmer. I think it's glimmertrain.com or something like that. Yeah. But it's just apparently it's like two sisters that sit there and just but they've
read.
Right, and they have actually built their reputation. They're actually pretty reputable. Uh-huh. So and well thought of in literary circles. So I was like, oh, okay, cool.
I entered a contest with this book.
Oh, nice.
When I first wrote it, and it was very lengthy, and I hadn't written it very well. It was when I was first starting out, and the lady that read it sent me back pages and pages of critique.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which is good, except she accused me of not knowing my subject matter, because the story is of a visually impaired girl. Excuse me, ma'am, but I raised a visually impaired child, and I know everything I need to know about it.
And then some.
And then some. But anyway, but a lot of her critique was good, but she must have liked the story to begin with, otherwise she wouldn't have spent that much time on it.
Right.
And
I'm not supposed to talk off camera, but tell him what the lady called you.
I don't remember.
She called you an asshole.
Oh, well, okay. Yes, matter of fact, I do remember she did.
Now, here's the thing. You accused me of being a little dark with in that story, but in your story, I think there's a visually impaired gal has left the knives in the sink in the dishwater,
well,
and I'm like, oh.
See, now listen, you guys. Okay, that may sound horrible to you, but how else is a child going to learn how to make sure that there's not something in that dishwater that's going to hurt them unless you teach them that? And you have to teach them that by doing it.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a freaking sharp knife that's going to cut the end of their finger off, but they need to be able to feel around when they're at somebody's house and they offer to help do the dishes, and that person isn't used to a visually impaired person, and so they just throw everything in the sink.
Right.
And it's, so she knows how to check water with bubbles in it that she can't see through, which you couldn't anyway. But,
right.
But and she'll not hurt herself.
Right.
So I did change that scene, because that's why I got called an asshole. So in this one, a glass gets broken, and she nicks her finger on a piece of glass that's down in the bottom of the sink.
Right.
Which happens to everybody.
Right.
It's not the end of the world, but Anyway.
Moving right along.
But yeah. So.
But anyway, to get back to contests, I'm starting to really step up. I've got enough short stories and things that I'm starting to really step up my search for really good contests.
Yeah, me too. I look for them all the time.
Right.
And if they sound good, I'll stick one in.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's good. It's good feedback. That one was a really good feedback from that one lady.
Oh, yeah.
She called me names, but you know, I think it was beneficial for my $25. I got a lot out of it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
$25, and she gave you a whole
a
ton of feedback. That's good. So good. So, alrighty. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoyed
Have
it.
a good week.
You too. And then you too.